Hell fucking yes. Red Dead Redemption 2's Black Cowboys are important. Hell yeah, they are. Now, as we all know, back in 2010, that's when Red Dead Redemption was released, and it instantly became a classic. But while trying to evoke the best parts of an age-old genre, the open-world Western failed to address some of the video game's worst habits. Rockstar's sequel, however, looks like it's already set to make a positive difference. But then again, can you call a prequel a sequel? You know, I mean, technically, from my knowledge, this is just about Arthur Curry, pretty much John Marston's mentor and his old gang. It's a whole gang of those guys. And just about, even though it's just one player story, but whatever it is, it's still gonna be a great ass game. I still look forward to it. Anyway, Rockstar has always pushed the limits of gaming with absurdity, bravado, and periodic social commentary. That's true. They inflate real world social issues to a point that's comical, and then bury them with sappy dialogue and hyper-violence. The first Red Dead Redemption strayed away from that standard and took a more serious perspective. And it worked. It was a gritty, gunslinging, genre-defining game that aced the feel of being a gruff white cowboy at the end of the chaotic Wild West. And I love that shit. I mean, and I love it from like a historical standpoint. I've always been like a big history guy, big social studies guy. So, and I always wanted to know what it was like to be in the Old West. So, playing that game really answered a lot of my questions and really just made me feel like I was a part of the Old West for a minute there. But anyway, the time-altering Deadeye mechanic and powerful plot combined to create an unforgettable world of dusty desperados, a world that felt like a genuine video game realization of classic Hollywood westerns. Damn straight. It's a great game. It's a great game, but it also forgot about many historically accurate but glossed over experiences of the time, including racism, slavery, and the importance of black people in the late 19th century. Man, I thought no one would ever bring this up, man. For real, I really didn't think they would bring it up, but I'm glad they did. And I quote, unrepresented, marginalized experiences are ripe with unexplored stories. End quote. Damn straight they are. Now, if Red Dead Redemption 2 unpacks the virtually untapped realm of black experiences in the Wild West, it would be a feat above and beyond the playgrounds and compelling narratives Rockstar already excels at. The romantic version of the West, often featuring only white people and stereotypes of Native American and Hispanic people, have dominated pop culture. Those Wild West tropes have festered into pop culture for years, making people think that all cowboys were white men. I believe that's unquestionably false. And here it is right here. Historians agree that black people about made up around 1/4 of all cowboys, which is about, from what I can remember from seeing like a fun fact trivia, about good 75-85%. But in Red Dead Redemption 1, the only black characters were bounties that you hunted down or NPCs with unforgettable one-liners. It's unfortunate and uncomfortably common that black people are cast aside in a culture they helped create. Man, it's about damn time, man. I've been waiting. So glad someone finally talked about this. Okay, encouragingly, we know Red Dead Redemption 2 will feature at least a few prominent black characters, including perhaps most notably Lenny, a member of Dutch Vanderlin's infamous gang. Lenny's quick spotlight in the teaser and gameplay trailers gave us a glimpse of what could possibly be proper racial representation. We aren't completely sure how much of an impact he'll have on the narrative, but the sheer fact that he's a named part of the main Molly crew gives some hope. Damn straight. Damn straight. Stories by the fire. Like the countless times in the building of America, black contributions during the age of cowboys weren't properly documented. It's disheartening that many of the stories about the black cowboy have been lost in time due to ignorance, bigotry, and racism. The top three things right there. It's even more depressing that the stories that are available are still barely ever told. Can you think of a black cowboy in pop culture that isn't Django from Django Unchained, or the guy from Holes? It's hard. Historically, we've prepared. Fuck. Let me start over. Sorry about that. Historically, we preferred to tell the same old gritty white stories, starring the same old Clint Eastwood looking dude, sprinkled with the same old tasteless stereotypes. It's outdated and boring, and we've desperately needed something original. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Now, Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place 12 years before the original game. The Wild West during that time was full of elements we would think were re- repre- uh, reprehensible now that hurt countless groups. Most specifically, the drastic mistreatment of Native Americans, women, and African Americans. Atrocities took place and they are scarcely ever acknowledged. And there you have it, folks. The first ever black cowboy, from the looks of it. Nate Love, one of the most famous black cowboys. There it is right there. Nat Love, one of the most famous cowboys. That is dope. Dope, dope, dope. Recently, Rockstar released several character cards, diving into the personalities and backgrounds of some of their Red Dead 2's key figures. Lenny's has him posted up with a shotgun saying, "Living free out here like this? I wouldn't have it any other way." This quote is a hint to Lenny's past, and it could be a reference to slavery. Now, if so, it'd be an interesting and accurate move. Many of the black people in America during the Wild West were born slaves, escaped, and then made a new life as cowboys, miners, lawmen, saloon keepers, editors, farmers, and more. The fact that you could possibly be playing alongside a liberated slave and experiencing their context is incredible and a major stride into the stories we don't often see. We need more of that. We need more of that. Imagine the game realization of African Americans like Ned Huddleston, aka the Calico Cowboy, a black man born a slave who eventually became a well-known stunt rider, gang member, and bronco buster with unparalleled rodeo skills. Playing as a rough and tough stagecoach Mary, a black woman who was the fastest mail carrier in the West and is said to have broken the most people's noses in central Montana, according to her local newspaper. What if Red Dead 2's Lenny, according to her, was a fictionalization of Nat Love? Which I honestly think that's actually a good theory, and I think that's a really good guess. Actually, I think that's actually true. One of the most famous black sharpshooting cowboys. He was one of the few people talented enough to live the full life of a cowboy and then archive all of his escapades in an autobiography. That's just a small taste of the plethora of black trailblazer tales Rockstar could rip off of and adapt into the digital world. And I honestly agree. So many great stories are left untold, and it's a shame. But I hopefully finally people get the message and they do start to, just look under the curtain sometimes and realize, hey, these are some pretty good stories that we can really use and adapt into the digital world. So I hope they do that for real. I think it will really bring in a lot of people and open a lot of people's eyes. I think it'll be really cool. Now, paving a new path. Video games shine when they tell untold stories in new ways and take chances. Battlefield 1's dedication to personal stories and human tragedy, honed into history, that's often glossed over and glorified. In doing so, Battlefield's 1 campaign created a fascinating path that strayed away from the annual military shooter's repetitive style. DICE shook up the standard shooter way of storytelling, and from what we've seen in Battlefield 5, it looks like they're going to try that again. We need more modern developers and publishers to try out unexpressed narratives, because the stories that'll come out of them will be refreshing and stimulating. And unrepresented, marginalized experiences are ripe with unexplored stories that are normally ignored in favor of retelling the typical white male tale. These are important narratives that we need to see, straight up. Okay, anyway, few AAA gamers are bold enough to mention the constant discrimination and marginalization black people endure across the globe, save for Mafia 3 or Watch Dogs 2. But Rockstar has the influence, tools, and, I believe, the courage to change that. Red Dead Redemption 2 is primed to help normalize conversations about race in games, and I'm glad about that. I mean, it really definitely needs to happen, especially since they have that influence to do so, aka the power. The Wild West was a racially charged, erratic environment. It was also one of the primary outlets for black people to escape slavery during the time. They adopted to the rustic lifestyle, all white being demeaned, degraded, and discredited. All while. Even in the post-slavery society, racism was still highly prevalent. Abolishing laws doesn't instantly change minds. African American cowboys had to do far more than their white counterparts to get just a shred of recognition. From doing the grunt work on cattle drives to the dirtiest jobs on the ranch, all of that effort went towards recognition that wasn't even guaranteed to go down in history. These are unique stories of the mistreatment that real people faced, and the perseverance that they had to have to push through all of it. through it all. They're important narratives that showcase problems that echo into our modern society, and we need to see them. Since Rockstar has already proven their ability to tell insightful tales underneath their wacky brand of nonsensical action, it wouldn't be that outlandish for them to take another step in the right direction and address the racial tensions of the Wild West in Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 was a remarkable Red Dead Redemption was a remarkable experience, and I reminisce about the satisfying gameplay, vast open world, and weighty stories often. But I can never shake how demoralizing it was not seeing a single black person in the game that meant anything to the plot. People call black cowboys the forgotten man of the West because of how often they get cheated out of history and popular culture. Since Red Dead is a series that is, at its core, about redemption, it would be extremely fitting to see for Rockstar to recognize the absence of those stories as a missed opportunity to acknowledge the significance African Americans had in the West, and feature some cool black cowboys with sensational stories, because you know they're gonna have a lot. So, but let me know what you guys think, man. This has been your boy Jerry Speaks, man. Shouts out to IGN and Franké Joseph, for doing this, man. It's really cool. I really enjoyed this article, man. As a black man, I really did. I just can't wait. Being that my birthday is next month, and I'm definitely gonna get Red Dead for my birthday because it's definitely. I feel like I've earned it. But I love reading articles like this, and I really love games like Red Dead Redemption. So I look forward to it, man. I really cannot wait for this, man. Let me know what you guys think, though. This has been your boy Service Speaks. Are you guys excited for Red Dead Redemption 2? Because I know, like hell, I am. What did you guys think about this article? Do you think Franké, hit the nail on the head with this, or do you guys think otherwise? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you guys have any requests for what video I should do next, let me know in the comment section below, or feel free to private message me on the backside of my YouTube page. This has been your boy Sherry Speaks. But you guys hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, man. This is your boy Sherry Speaks. One love.